What is up, everybody? It is Sunday, August 26th, 2018. I hope you're doing awesome. Figured I'd do a nice little live stream. I tweeted yesterday actually about $1,000 Litecoin. We're going to talk about that. And I talked about it yesterday and said I'd do a video today. So here's that video. So before we get started, a couple things. Number one, if you're a replay viewer, this is a live stream. I don't really know where this is going to go. I try my best to keep it organized. I will put timestamps for you if you just kind of want to go to the area where I talk about $1,000 Litecoin. You can go right there and then you can stop watching. But I definitely am going to talk to whoever's in the chat a little bit. And if that bores you, it might be something you want to skip around. But appreciate you coming by either way. And then secondly, $1,000 Litecoin. We're going to be talking about that. So you might not agree that it will ever happen or that it's even possible. You might agree that it will. If you don't agree, I am going to lay the case out of what might lead us there. So I would say just check it out. Maybe I can change your mind. But secondly, if you don't agree, totally cool. Let me know why in the comments, maybe respectfully, without hate. But I think there is a case for $1,000 or more Litecoin, and it's, I think, very realistic in my opinion. One reason why I'm heavily long on Litecoin. And I want to talk about not just throwing the number out there, right? But actually exploring like why, how, from a technical standpoint, from a market standpoint, like how could this happen? It's really not that unrealistic. It's not even that far off. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I hope I introed that well. And what's up, everybody? Let's see who's in the chat. We've got Drew Blood. We got Drew Blood 21 already sending $10 super chat. Champagne Sundays. Drew Blood 21 popping bottles. What's up, man? How are you? So good to see you here, Drew Blood. Let's see if Poseidon Lou comes in and busts your chops. Who else do we have? Steven Herzog is here. Litecoin ____. I think you just tweeted me. Yeah, been waiting, homie. Has been a busy week. So you just tweeted me asking if I'm going to do a video today, and I was like, I'm going to do a video. I just don't know if I can have the time to edit, so I'm doing a live stream. Who else we got here? Saints Scholars, what's up? What's up? Eric 3.0, what's up? Yeah, it's kind of crazy doing a live stream at, I feel like it's 5 o'clock Sunday evening. It might be a weird time for many people, but it's all good. Hopefully we cover some good information here. What's up, Josh Wallace? Litecoin 10,000 in 5 years. Melissa. You know what's cool? While we are talking about $1,000 Litecoin, I actually on the chart have a $10,000 plus Litecoin on the chart to show you what that might look like. Roy Trimboli, 18 days Litecoin Summit. That's crazy. Less than 3 weeks away. Man, I don't like flying though. I'm not looking forward to flying. It's not my thing. Sarah loves flying. All right, Bram. So let's jump in. I'm gonna go over my thoughts with this topic of $1,000 Litecoin, and y'all let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I'm off here. Let me know if you agree or you disagree. I'm sure there's some in here that disagree. So here we go. I tweeted yesterday, working on some Litecoin charting. When this thing takes off, it's going to be epic. Looking forward to doing tomorrow's video. Would you have invested in Apple IPO in 1980? That was the question. And I thought it was a good question because we're in this new era, right, where we have this new technology called cryptocurrency, the blockchain really being implemented now globally, and it's happening. It's happening before our eyes, but there's so many steps in this process, and there's so much that so many people, most people, the majority of people do not understand. But I know you can't compare it exactly to Apple, right? But when Apple was coming on the scene, that was a new technology that most of the world then could not grasp. But now most of the world, or a lot of the world, has these mini computers in their pockets called cell phones. And you would have never thought in 20, 30 years that this was going to happen. It's crazy to even think about what we can do with these things. So in the same aspect, right, blockchain, cryptocurrency, it's kind of the starting point right now. Just how Apple came on the scene. And we're going to talk about that process of Apple, where it started, where it is now, what it's doing. Because there are very, very similar things happening, in my opinion, in terms of technology, in terms of advancement, and in terms of where price will go. So I'll scroll down a little because I thought this comment was funny, and it speaks to what I just said. Somebody said comparing Apple stock to Litecoin, and I guess they're not happy with that. But I just explained why. And then Drew Blood, who's actually in the chat, just got a super chat from Drew Blood, says you're looking at it the wrong way. New product out, Apple. Why use Apple when we already have PCs? Why use Litecoin when we have USD? New tech always takes a while to adopt, and now everyone has all Apple products. Just like one day everyone will use Litecoin. I love that, Drew Blood. I mean, that's on point, dude. That's on point. They said, I love crypto and I want to see every project succeed. However, I'm not blinded by my personal bias. Litecoin offers nothing over Bitcoin. Nothing. And then Drew Blood. Market cap, transaction speed, algorithm, and quite a bit more. I agree Bitcoin is gold, but Litecoin has a lot of great benefits for use in today's market. I think everybody should give a round of applause to Drew Blood. Drew Blood, well done. Great rebuttals. That's very well done. So that really speaks to the story of like Litecoin. It's on the scene, right? New technology, Bitcoin, new technology. And we're in the beginning days, right? So let's talk about Apple as a starting point, because that is what I use for the comparison, right? And it's crazy. I have an iPhone right here in my hand. So Apple as a starting point, look at its birth. Look at this, 1980 on the chart. And now we're, 30 years from this point, which is 1988, 30 years later. Look at this channel, this upward trend Litecoin Apple has been in. And not only has it been in this trend, but look at its starting point of $1 billion market cap. Like $1 billion market cap back in 1980. Imagine if you told somebody then, hey, there's this new thing, it's called Apple, and here's what Apple's doing, here's what the technology is doing. And I think one day Apple's going to have a $1 trillion market cap. People would have been like, no. And people probably were like, no, that's not going to happen. First of all, this technology isn't going to last. This is confusing. The world's not going to be able to adopt this. The world's not going to be able to understand this, let alone going from $1 billion market cap to $1 trillion market cap. That's ridiculous. Well, let's look at what just happened. This article just posted this month, like earlier in the month, August 4th, Apple officially becomes first U.S. company with $1 trillion market cap. Apple did it. We just looked on the chart, $1 billion market cap. Now $1 trillion market cap. It took many, many years, right? 30 plus years of chart right here, but it did it. $1 trillion. And you can see. And we just got a Poseidon Lou with a $9.99 super chat. Laughing at Drew Blood. Poseidon Lou, I don't know. Drew Blood had some good content so far in this video. So appreciate the super chat, fellas. You guys are the best. So Apple shares closed, and this is on August 4th, at $207, above the $207.04 threshold needed for Apple to officially hit the $1 trillion mark. That's based on its most up-to-date share count, and this is the other thing that's very important, 4.8 billion shares. 4.8 billion shares. So keep that in mind when you're like, well, why is Apple only at like $200 some and it's $1 trillion market cap? Well, there's over 4 billion shares, right? Litecoin right now, 50 million circulating supply and a max of like 84 million, I'm sorry. So way more shares in terms of Apple. So in terms of where price can go, you can't really compare the exact price of Apple and Litecoin, but you can compare, and you can have a talking point at least of market cap. So our talking point of market cap is the $1 trillion market cap for Apple. And we're going to go over this in a second, is the $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, and then where does Litecoin fall into those numbers? And that's where we're going to get our speculative pricing for Litecoin. So that's, it's a pretty amazing thing. And you can see how much it had to gain in just 2 days. In its 2-day push to get to $100 trillion market cap, Apple added $82 billion in market capitalization in 2 days. It's nuts. So obviously, a few other companies on the scene before we get into the charts. Amazon's market cap sat at roughly 873 billion. So Amazon's getting up there, close to $1 trillion. Google, close to $1 trillion at an $849 million market cap. And Microsoft, close to $1 trillion, 818 billion. Those companies are going to break the $1 trillion mark. And now for a little bit of quick context, you can see Litecoin, its all-time high market cap, like right around $19 billion. So it really puts into perspective of how small the market caps are right now. And Bitcoin, you can see its all-time high market cap right around $320 billion, right? So Bitcoin still hasn't even gotten to that threshold of $1 trillion. So we are well at the beginning of this story. So first, quick glance one more time. Here's the Apple chart, the long-term uptrend, and you can see the volatility in just a U.S. company, right? And right now you can see it started, what's this, like 50 cents or so, and then we're talking like 10 years later, it's at the same price or lower. So there was much volatility in the market in Apple, but it's seen some success, and look what success has done. It just broke the $1 trillion market cap. So let's check out Litecoin on the charts right now. I'm gonna be talking about a lot of numbers, so bear with me, try and follow along, and I'll do my best. I'm the worst with numbers, believe it or not. I hate numbers, but I'm gonna do my best to stay organized and to explain this as thoroughly as possible. We have a $2, or that's actually euro, 229. Daniel Prosper, I appreciate it. First of all, your name is awesome, Daniel. And your last name is pretty sick, Prosper. I love it. I wonder if that's really your last name or if that's just a play on words, because I like it. Alan Higgs with a $14.99 super chat. What's up, dude? I appreciate that. I appreciate both of you guys with those super chats. You're awesome. Putting that pep in my step. Me and Sarah were in Philly today visiting a project for the Launchpad Foundation. So just want to throw that out there, let you guys know we had an awesome time in Philly. The project we visited are doing some ridiculous things, and we talked about how we can play a part in that. So we're going to be going back in the next few weeks to really dig in and see what they're doing. And this is yes, it was in Kensington, Philadelphia, as Steven Herzog just said. Kensington, Philadelphia, a rough spot in Philly, but in need of a tremendous amount of hope or help. So hopefully the Launchpad Foundation will be able to lend a nice hand to that area and make some moves and be able to serve people, really, and these super chats, and I was telling them earlier when we met with them, I told them about you guys and your super chats, and I was like, it really just inspired Sarah and I to make some moves, get off our butts and start contributing and doing something awesome. So just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. So here's the chart. We're gonna do this. We're gonna take baby steps here. So let's start here at all-time high Litecoin. Everybody remembers it. Back here, like 300 some dollars. That was the $19 billion market cap. Okay, right there. Just for some context. And you see, we've gone up and down, and it's been volatile. What's crazy is if you look at the starting point of Litecoin right now, let me just make sure you can see can you see my chart? Yes. If you look at the starting point on this chart with Litecoin, and you just go glance at Apple, it's crazy to see actually the similarities of the volatility. And I know cryptocurrency is extremely volatile, but just look at Apple at its beginning chart area, right? So it opened, it's down 70%. And then from that low, it's up again 500%. And then look, up 500%. People probably FOMOing into Apple, down 77%, 80%. Does that sound familiar? Because it sounds familiar to me. So Litecoin, go to Litecoin charts, and you can just see. I mean, it's going crazy. It's up and down. People FOMOing in and losing money and FOMOing back in. And then you have people that are just giving up on it and people that believe in the technology. And it's very similar to the days in early Apple when people believed in the technology. People believed what was going on. So here's our all-time high, $19 billion market cap. And what's the path, though? So let's really just talk about it. The path to $1,000 Litecoin. Here it is on the chart. This first white line, that's around $1,034 Litecoin, and that's at the current supply. That's just assuming today's current supply, which is like $58 million or something, or 58 million or something like that. So the other thing this does, this price point, this $1,000 price point, and this is it. This is like the moment of truth. We're talking about $1,000 Litecoin, and this is why, to me, it's not that unrealistic. It takes a couple things into account. Number one, this is assuming Bitcoin reaches $1 trillion market cap. So are you a believer that Bitcoin will reach $1 trillion market cap? I am. I mean, for me, there's almost no doubt that it will, unless something crazy happens. There's always room for failure, right? This train might just go off the tracks. It could happen. I don't think it's going to, and I think $1 trillion market cap is going to happen. So that's number one. And really, to touch on that real quick before we talk about the second point, this is pretty recent. This is in February. Bitcoin market cap could hit $4 trillion. Winklevoss twins. So Winklevoss twins, heavily involved, obviously, leaders in the space, in the cryptocurrency space, believe the market cap could be $4 trillion. So right here, we're talking about $1 trillion Bitcoin market cap. So with that taken into account, how does that relate to Litecoin? Well, I mean, we can take data that we have, which is to say this all-time high of $19 billion market cap, Litecoin was like 6%, I think, around 6%, 7% of Bitcoin. So assuming Litecoin's at a 6% of Bitcoin at Bitcoin's $1 trillion market cap, that would leave us at around a $60 billion market cap for Litecoin, right? So we've seen around a $20 billion market cap. So assuming Bitcoin succeeds and Litecoin follows in its footsteps and Litecoin continues to make crazy moves in terms of its technology and its adoption, I think this is relatively conservative to say Litecoin can be 6% of Bitcoin, right? Everybody wants it to be 25%. I think it's safe to say Litecoin can be 6% of $1 trillion Bitcoin. So that leaves Litecoin at a $60 billion market cap, or around $1,034 at current supply. So right there on the screen is your $1,000 Litecoin. And it doesn't seem that far off, right? It doesn't, first of all, it seems realistic. But second of all, it seems like something we could achieve, assuming there may be another bull run in the works. So let's kind of visit the chat. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Cap Gains says, we have fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Cap Gains says, no, it won't reach $1,000. Would Apple have reached $1 trillion if Tim Cook had sold all his shares? Motor City says, I think we will bull run in a couple months. Been down for 9 months. We are due. I don't know. I was looking at the chart and F-150 says he's still averaging in. I was looking at the Apple chart. No, I was looking at the Litecoin chart. And I was just thinking, like, if you look at the Apple chart, which we can real quick, you see how, like, just it, from that first all-time high, it kind of just really came down. And that's not the brush. Let me get the brush. So this first all-time high, and we're talking 1981, 1983. I mean, it came down to like crazy new lows. It almost tested previous lows, right? And then you look at Litecoin and it's kind of like, well, can Litecoin right now at its most previous all-time high, could it track back? I mean, could it get this bad where we come down to the bottom of this trend line and we actually see that like $15, $20 Litecoin, which Charlie Lee actually said, if you can't handle $20 Litecoin, then maybe this isn't for you. But is it possible? Like $20 is right here. It is possible. I would never sit here and say it's not possible. I think it's highly possible. It's not that far off. We're at $56 right now. So, but this is why I'm so comfortable in these like downward trends. Is just because when you like, this is like my ultimate zoomed out vision or version of why I am long on Bitcoin, why I'm long on Litecoin. This is it. It's on the screen right here, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why like these areas here at the bottom, you know, even so $50 down to like $20 right there, that is incredible accumulation if you're long on Litecoin. Like if you believe in the technology, why would you not accumulate in those areas? Why would you not accumulate and average in here? As long as you're not spending more than you can afford to lose, right? If you're long on the technology and you believe in what it's doing, man, just look at the possible upside. And I feel like this chart is an illustration of what could potentially happen amidst success, actual success. And you can see Apple. It had this crazy uptrend with crazy volatility, but it succeeded, right? I mean, this is what it looks like. Now, a company that doesn't succeed, right, or a currency that doesn't succeed and fails, if one is to fail, is you see, something like this, where, all right, it reached its all-time high, and then the chart looks way different than what it looks like now, and it just has a channel all the way down, and it is the illustration of failure, right? That's what that looks like. This is what Apple failing would look like, and then it goes out of business in like 2003. That's what Apple failing looks like, but it didn't fail. It succeeded. And I'm using an Apple computer. I'm using an Apple phone. It's adopted. It's widespread. It's global. And you see it just broke $1 trillion market cap in August. So same exact thing with Litecoin. Same exact thing with Bitcoin. So I know like it's kind of crazy just look at a $12,000 Litecoin on the screen, but I did it just for fun. I did it just because 20 years, 30 years from now, right? If Bitcoin and Litecoin, they are the successful cryptocurrencies, and there will be other ones, trust me, in the years to come. I don't know where Bitcoin and Litecoin will fall into that story. I don't know how successful they will be. I don't know how adopted they will be. I don't know how used they will be. Nobody does. But just let's say they are to a point of, everybody's using it, and there's a ton of money poured into these markets. Is it that unrealistic to think that Bitcoin, first of all, gets its $4 trillion market cap, like the Winklevoss twins say? Is it that unrealistic to think that Pantera Capital CEO is right and will have a $40 trillion cryptocurrency market cap? $40 trillion market cap. Where would that leave Bitcoin in terms of its market cap? If this succeeds, are these numbers that ridiculous? I don't think so. And if those numbers are not that ridiculous, I think $1 trillion Litecoin market cap is in play. And $1 trillion market cap for Litecoin at max supply, I worked the numbers real quick. Is it $12,000? It's $12,000. So those are my thoughts. I mean, that's it. I wanted to really just chart it out. I wanted to talk about it. And I guess I wanted to see your thoughts. I think I would assume most people in this chat are probably, especially if you're viewers, probably long on Litecoin, and you probably agree with most of what I'm saying. But we just saw a comment. Somebody does not think Litecoin will ever get to $1,000. If you look at the downtrend, this recent downtrend this year, 2018, you can see Litecoin is not. There's so many comments all the time, and I don't get it. It is kind of frustrating. People saying Litecoin is like the worst. It's down the most. But if you compare like the top 10 in market cap of who's down the most, Litecoin is not down the most. I believe XRP is down more than Litecoin from all-time highs. I believe Bitcoin Cash is down more than Litecoin from all-time highs. And I think there's others. So Litecoin is not like, Bitcoin's performing best, but Litecoin is definitely not performing the worst. So I guess at the end of the day, the question is is Litecoin, in terms of Litecoin dominance, will it go up? Will it continue going down? I think like Litecoin's like 3% of Bitcoin right now or something in terms of its market cap. All-time high was around 6%. So like where's Litecoin going to fall in that story? That has a lot to do. But this channel, which is a very large channel on the screen of $1,000 Litecoin up to $12,000 Litecoin, is, I think, extremely strong channel. And I'm talking years out, right? I'm not talking like instantly. I'm not talking by 2020. This chart, I have 20 years from the beginning here. And that leaves us right around, I guess, 2033 is where this goes. So I'm talking like long-term investment here, and that's my approach to the market. On uh, I'm very long on Litecoin. So this channel, $1,000 to $12,000, a huge target, obviously, very wide, but there's so much gains. There's so many gains in that area because, especially from where we are now, all the way back down here to like $50, we have, and that's the wrong, that's the date range. We need the price range. So look at that, 1,500% gains. 1,700% gains to $1,000 from where we are now. If you are truly convinced that Litecoin's going to $1,000, that's 1,600% gains. And then to $12,000 is just ridiculous. Like we're talking like 20,000% gains. So I think if you're long on Litecoin, it makes sense to accumulate as long as you can afford the risk and you have that risk tolerance. Because we could continue going down. We could see a $20 Litecoin, right? It could happen. Especially if, again, you revisit Apple. Look at it. Look at what happened in its infancy at the beginning. I mean, crazy losses, right? And then we're talking 10 years later. It went down so much. So for Litecoin, even more volatile market, definitely. So those are my thoughts. Assad Harari, thank you so much for a $10 super chat. You're the man. I think I just saw you over. Were you commenting on Twitter or maybe it was a YouTube comment? But I appreciate your comments, man. And I appreciate your super chat. I really do. And speaking of, I know somebody just asked, and we can go to Launchpad Foundation website. Launchpad Foundation. Somebody just said I should. Jose said you should also accept Litecoin as donations. So I wish YouTube allowed donations in Litecoin. It would be awesome like Twitch does. But if you want to do that, you can donate to our foundation, which we're raising money for. And we just talked about it. We visited Kensington and we're going to start this project. We're hoping to have our first funding sometime in Q4 2018 where we take your donations and donations from these super chats, even USD. And we're funding our first project, which we just visited in Kensington. But here's a donate on the launchpadfoundation.com website. You can donate Litecoin to the foundation, and we're working on a widget that shows real-time donations updated so that we can be transparent about Litecoin donations that do come in, and we can be transparent about the whole thing. So we have a widget, like an app being built for the website, and it's going to be epic. So if you want to donate Litecoin, you can donate to the Crypto Capital Venture Launchpad Foundation via the website. So I appreciate you bringing that up, and I appreciate you even thinking of us in that way. So there it is, the $1,000 Litecoin. I think I laid it out pretty nicely in terms of how it's possible and realistic. It's not that unrealistic, but man, I think we're going to get there. I really do. And that's why I'm accumulating. And if it goes down, I'll keep accumulating. I don't spend more than I can afford to lose personally. I never have invested more than I can afford to lose. I invest what I'm comfortable with, and everybody has their own risk tolerance. So, but from a technical perspective, I mean, obviously we're in a long-term uptrend. I think that will continue. I don't think this thing is going to fail. And I think just as Apple continued its long-term uptrend into success and into a powerhouse, I truly believe Litecoin will do something similar. So those are my thoughts. I wanted to do this video. We're right at around a half an hour, so I'm going to end it there. But I truly appreciate all you guys hanging out on this Sunday. I know it's kind of a weird time, Sunday. It's at least 5 o'clock on Eastern, on the East Coast. But appreciate each and every one of you. You super chatters, I don't even know what to say. You're awesome. I'm grateful for you. I think I'm going to do probably a similar, regular video tomorrow about Bitcoin and its potential. And talk about it from a similar fashion tomorrow. So look out for that if you're interested. But I appreciate all of you super chatters. I appreciate all you commenters. I appreciate all you viewers. You guys are awesome. And thank you so much for spending some time with me on this Sunday. I hope you have an amazing rest of the night. And I will see you in the next video. And God bless.